Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Welcome to the Dharma television. You are watching, following Rinpoche with the Sangngak Tenzin Rinpoche, the 7th session on mind training teaching. The teaching will be host in every Monday and Friday from 3 to 3 p.m. 3:30 p.m. Semjen nam ge samba tang lo ye chita chita war chejung ti mong te ba ye chu ko lo kor do so
domen gombo bordan la mala ni chu ker ta we mo ge tunjir gombe nyang la bo ri ba za je wang chen ta bar sho la so teni da namba changmala teni yangchir jalbe teni kukam dewi samre shigeyo.
Once again, I wish you all are well and healthy, and greetings to all of you.
Da teni ji namba chola da ji jangkil tende ji ni xia ji la da dangsang namxi korang ni changmo chang de tende ndi namba choge teni dolon nabza tende dolon ya po chen ya dang teni che chau thong ya la so pa tende ge teni chorten la teni tzu nang ro tende xia yin.
Just for the gentle reminding for all of you that since these days weather is quite chilly and cold, so you need to wear warm clothes and try to drink more hot water.
Tende indi ta nga so terang dani karsana ta jusha de teni nga so lobjung ge rimba da tende shede ge yore tende indi ta so karsana tani ta lobjung ge rimba ge nangni jang ta kang so gure ta ji tarui panyun se gure wa ta kasang ma tini ma shede bares.
So we are going through teaching on the mind training, the stages of the practice of the mind training teaching, and we also have been discussed a little bit on the benefit of the liberation or the enlightenment.
Tatela karsana tani jasi shiva lagatani jonji kanangla tani karasongbare senatani dingel ndorndol loyo chang tani dingel nila ngombar jis ni dewan do chang temg bi rang dewa dartar jom sene ni tendre songnang bares.
For that, regarding that practice or the teaching, that I would like to quote from the Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life by the Shantideva, where he said, even though we wish to avoid suffering, but we are chasing up to the suffering. Even though we wish to cultivate or adopt happiness, due to our own ignorance, we are creating more suffering to ourselves.
Da tendre indi tendre karasongure senatani ni konsugure da dingel dorndol lo yo chang sa dingel ni la ngomber ji sen tendre song chang da tendre indi da changma dewan do ba da jikpa yeng yore tendre semjin changma tendre kalsana ni dewa andong ken tendre sharta ga yare tendre dingel mendo ken rawa tendre imbala tendre sangma jigi yore yina yang kalsana dewa dona yang dewi 그 제대 가르스나 되는 운이 되는 간다 임바테 가르스나 되는 고 하마코네로와 어떤지 지달리나 다 가르스나니 등을 나더니 죽은데 세네 어떤지 송겨레스.
So where in the beginning he said that even though we wish to avoid suffering, but we are chasing up to the suffering, that means every one of us, we all wish for happy. We do not want to have a suffering. However, to have a happiness and to avoid suffering, we need to cultivate the causes and conditions to create the happiness.
teni tendre indi ta kandre sana konso chirang go dewan dopa chikpare teni devi ge chet teni konso gora ta chi janna no pa che ala sopara no che dang tendre ji rang deva ge chet teni janna no che ala sopa ta tendre ji ondi ta so ta ding ge je ma tos chira ta dong de la teni ribe dewa ji tendre to yong ya tendre yore pe sana tendre teni ta yo mare sene tendre sompares.
So what is really saying here is that if you want to have happiness, then by wish for having happiness, but if we do not create the causes and conditions for the happiness, we won't be able to have the happiness. So therefore, to have a happiness, then of course we must avoid harmful thoughts and harmful actions towards others. So by doing harmful thoughts and action, then if we are still trying to wish for happiness, it is impossible for us to have happiness.
Tatani tende inde kandre senata chi antani consecure tachi rang teni karsana teni devate karsana teni dona yang tachi tumuk teni devaten jom drogre seni tende songda anda indi taso ta te so kandre senatani ngaso teni mashipa tangrwa ta mashipa senandrigndi marigpa segrwa tetang teni sepa o teni la teni dalina ta consecure teni driba dingal teni mangbo teni consecure ta nyamsunywa ta teni yong yo pares.
So even though we wish for happiness, we are destroying our own happiness, just like our own enemy, is because that due to our ignorance, and craving and desire, then we still kind of like destroys our own happiness, just like on our own enemies.
근데 인디다 대한 도장 송다 대한 도그마리 송문다 상마게 직발에 되는 대한 도그 요를 왔던데 있나요다 스마시바테 뜸몽바테 왕거 강서 그랬더니 랑그 대와테 가르세나더니 랑그 메바진로 그래세네 어다든지 송바레스.
So what here it says is that even though we wish for happiness, that means actually we are wishing for happiness, but due to our own ignorance and craving and attachment, then we are destroying our own happiness. That is what it means here.
다지 배지 자네 시바에 나가서 지 제말랩스야 지라 매집 제말랩스니 코 메라 가그러 왔는데 인디 코 멘통디 타서 되니 코 매게 나왔더니 코더니 던저거더니 총으로 그러더니 매게 나왔죠. 던지 다서더니 가르스나 다지 코그 강서 고래 당가 매대게 나왔더니 좋아해 나티 지금로 그래 삼니 코 하고고요 말아. 던지 인디 코 하먹고 와데 가르 무시바로 와. te hamakuwa de mishibares tene karresena ta tela tene kanso gore te metela gawa am tendre karsena tene ni chakpa tela tene karsena ni sepa se yorba tene sepa yongdi ta tene tendre go karsena tene mashipa ta sepa ni la tene dalina karchang ro gitsen ta sosu zpo yang tene kanso gore tene chigni tene dingen yang go yorede 대형 karsena tene yongba de hakoyo mares.
So the reason why we are destroying our own happiness is like, for example, there is like a big fly that always like to fly around the light or the flame. So the one who likes to go around the flame, even though he due to his own ignorance, he just caused his life for jumping onto the fire or the flame. So that is because one reason is that fly has a craving and attachment, and then second thing is due to the ignorance, then that fly caused his own life into the fire. So that is why we are also the same manner that we are destroying our own happiness in that manner.
다 던데 인디 타서 간저레스나 다 다체 시바 나오진 던디 그 가르스나 다코 코랑 드니 강서 그랬다 메텔라 드니 메텐 통디 타서 다 델라 메테게 츠근로 그래 삼제 코 하고 더구문다 그 시기요 말에 코 던저게 드니 마시바레 드니 강서 그랬다 지 콜라 가스 세바데 콜라 드니 메송바이나 그 메테게 나나 콘총구 말와 콘로그 말에 이나 세바데 왕가 가르스나 코 메기테게 나나 로디 타서 드니 콜라 요페게 소소그 ዝ포테양 강서 그랬다 지 sombola 츠근로고 여러봐 근데 그 등인 용고 요레스 이나양 공그 삼발라 가르스나 지 대화지 그 돈더더니 고든지 지바레 마톡테 등에테 용고 여바데 하고요 말했어.
And that fly is jump into the flame or the lamp flame is because one reason that fly doesn't know it will cause his own life because of the ignorance, and other thing is because of the craving and attachment. Then he flies and into the fire and then dies. If that fly doesn't have the craving craving to fly into the flame, then he won't cause his own life. So therefore we are also same manner destroying our own happiness.
tani ta 지금 ngaran so ge yang tani lobjung saya te me somba yina tani ta te dang tani jikpare serwa tani tani de ngaran so yang kang so ta ta shiba nam chin tani ge shiba dang sepa teni ge wang ge ta kang so ge ji tani dewa ton de nyeri na ton la kar sna ta de dingel tani jin ma chipa ji mambo ji ra o tani ji dali na tani ko rang top de ge res.
So we are also the same way that in many cases and many times that due to our own ignorance and craving and attachment, then we create many different kinds of pain and suffering in our life.
lobjong dendri ge nyamnen so yapo nang ni rwa dendri jidali na ta so tene ka se mishi pa te pa sel go ga mishi pa te sel song ba yin na ka na ta dinglan de deware samje ge dendri ge mong ba te pa sang ro rwa dendri ge mong ba te pa sang ro res tene ka so ge ta ji dingla tene ka ge jet zo tamji la ta nga so ji kombi ge wang ge xian cha de shi chen bu ji yong ge rwa to so tamje yang ka so ta lobjong yapo nang a te ge tene pa.
So now here what we need to do is that we need to have a more understanding of the education on the Buddha Dharma, and based on understanding and the hearing, then we need to have the practice on the teaching. So more if we able to enhance our education on the Buddha Dharma and the practice, then it will help us to dispel the ignorance, what is right and what is wrong, and then we are also able to have less craving and attachment, so that we will not create more suffering to our own life.
Oh yeah, that dendru ga sanatani dingla dingimba dingji hakoya tangrwa dendri ga karsna ding ke netela sepa to so doya ga cheta tanga so karche gure senatani tharwa se de dund dendri nergo yores.
So with the understanding of the Buddha Dharma and practice, then we will able to understand the suffering. Suffering is a suffering, and we will have a more clear understanding on the suffering, and then we also will adopt the practice for liberation or the enlightenment.
Tende inde ta chi tharwa te tunda nyer songba inna kansa gore ta chi teni tharwa tunda nyer teni jangcheb ge semla nyamla nangrwa tende chi songba inna ta chi jasi shewa la ge song daga teni jangcheb semji ta shuni sarwa jangcheb semde ta la pe jang daga jangcheb semji ta shuni teni deni devar ndwa la seta deni devar ndwa la ta semi yungken ji na se jil gre sene wo deni song nang bare gas.
So then we will be able to apply the liberation or path to enlightenment practice by ourselves. With that, then we will also able to practice the bodhicitta, practice of bodhicitta, just as what Shantideva said in the Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life, where he said that with riding on the horse of bodhicitta, then we will able to enhance or gain more happiness in higher and higher level.
Tende indi taso karsan tanga so changma daji shiba nangjin doji dewa rinda ina dewa uni ge lamde ta kararesen ni jasi shiba la ge songba nangjin de ge kangsa gore changche bu ke semla nyamnen chi teni tarti sangji ge komang tro teni dvya te karsan ta dewa ge nangni dewa jirwa me parwa ta tela tang dewa se ge yors teni tang dewa sangji ge komang ton de nyere ya te chakayo pares.
So right in the beginning we have been talked about that we all wish for happiness. Then we must also know how to bring happiness or to create happiness to ourselves. It's just what Shantideva said in the Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life, that the practice of bodhicitta will bring more happiness to ourselves. And also eventually if we able to attain Buddhahood or the enlightenment, then that will be the everlasting happiness, the happiness that we will never going to change.
Tene kansa gore chigita chig umaga tendrega tagum tendre nyamlan naya tang yangna karasna chagja chembo tang zokpa chembo la sokpa ge ta chig goni rang tani ta ripa ngoto nirwa tendre jidali na tani tarwa thobya ga ta tendre ge karasna tarwi ge lam te samo tendre ta tene mambo tendre yores.
So when we talk about the path to the liberation, of course, there are varieties of the paths to the liberation. The practice of mind training also lead to the liberation, as well as the practice of the Madhyamika, Mahamudra, and a great perfection, or the Dzogpa Chembu. Through the introducing one's own true nature of mind will lead to the liberation or the state of enlightenment. So therefore there are varieties of the path which will lead us to the liberation.
Tatende indi karzana chi tsenda la tani lama zambo chi tende ten ta damga nyen rwa chi chagja chembo tang tani dzokpa chembo la sokba ta tende ge rikpi ge ngoncho ni ta tende chongba ina pe masa ke ta chokta cherwa tende re tende tani ni ma chongba ina yang tani kansa gura ta chik tab deu chi dali na yang tani ni tharlam nyaga ya ge tende ge karzana ta chik dewa chang ge shankam la tani chewa
So if possible, of course, in this life we try to find an authentic great master or authentic spiritual master that will help us to introduce our true nature of the mind. By introducing our own true nature of the mind, and also the root guru will give us the pit instruction. Through that we can able to recognize our own true nature of the mind. However, if it is not possible in that way, of course we can also try to practice the visualizing or the visualizing of the Pure Land. Through that we may also able to reborn into the Pure Land.
Tende indi ta chi dewa chang ge tani shankam se ya de tani kansa ge opa me ge ni thuji li trebi ge tende shankam chi yem bares tende indi tende ge shankam tende ya tani pe mangbu yores.
So the Pure Land or the Sukhavati is the Pure Land which was established or created through the aspiration prayer of the Buddha Amitabha. Of course, there are many other Pure Lands, many other many other Pure Land as well, like Buddha Amitabha's Pure Land.
That in the Garsana, Tindigi, Shankam Yang, Shankam de la Garsana, Takpig, Shankam Dang, Tanichi, Matakpig, Shankam La Sopada, Tindigi, Shankam de Antony, Pe Mangbot and Yochokores, the Penang, so Tangsang, Tanik Batu Sogyang, so Tachi, Zambalang de la Tachi, Jitin around Sogan, Zamlan, the Chipuma and Batanin, Zambalang, Jandayang, Yopa, Tindi Garsana, Mambondus, and the Korantani, Haku Yorwa, Taganamjin Cartendri, Tini Carson, Zambalan. Mambo yopa namjin ga karsana ta chi jiten elayang chi takpe shankam dang ta namjin de ma takpe shankam den mambo yopa te yang so rugbe ge den chaptagres.
So when we talk about Pure Land, of course there will be also impure land as well. Of course all the land are not pure. When we talk about scientist point of view, we have been hearing and we have been understood through the science that when we talk about the planet or the galaxy, it is not only one galaxy, there are hundreds of thousands of galaxies or the planet out there. And in that respect, of course, there are many varieties of the pure land or the planet. Of course, some are pure and some are impure land.
That the nigger Garsena to Dharma Shankam to the Mambo to Yopi Nani, the Devachang Shankam, say the Garsena, that she Sanji Tan Chanch of Semba Mambo Garsena, that the Latin Chia Lil Hawayores, the Nicarsena, so Tamil Bat and Riga Young Devachang Shankamla, Chiorando Bigata, Dimbayorwa, then Rich in Dimbayapo, then Tapajan in Dimbat and Tesson Bayina, they go Devachang Shankam Latini, Jetagures in
So among the varieties of the Pure Land, Buddha Amitabha Pure Land or the Sukhavati is one of the most easiest way to reborn into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land. To reborn into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land, we need only good and strong determination of the taking birth into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land, or the strong will or the strong aspiration prayer to reborn into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land.
Tendru Garsana, Tenichi, Devachang Shankamla, Yatang, so Chita, Poland, which Latin Pejapa in Nayang, so take that you Majap Homo Segorata, Tendriga Antony, Koran Shirankala, Captela Young Council with Tanita, Consul Garsana Ota, Shella Tani, which have picked up the Latini, Umit Opamet and Garsana, Pepson, Servat, and Tendrigi Dalinatini Council, Temo Journey, Opamet, Uncle Tozong in Jason. So some parts of the Tibet or the Himalayan region, of course, when some people who dies at the time of death, they will only recall or remember Buddha Amitabha. And in some cases, some of the people they were actually able to see Buddha Amitabha right at the time of their death. Tendi tako share la pe tagnu yorwa tendi ni ko shewa shiranka la karsana tani zin lab goya yang yo mare serwa tani tendi indi zin shebi gu gupa yang yo mare yenayang koran shekala tendi ko ta oba me tendi zongkuru nguse pebeya ko nawati shargi yore shari dalina tani kansu gure tani ko de ugi chama tagda kansu gure de devachang gi shankam la tendi jewa len ro yores.
And those people who tell story that at the time of their death, then they were able to see or saw Buddha Amitabha and the retinues of the Buddha Amitabha, and those people who told us the story, of course, they have no reason to tell this a lie, because at the time of death nobody tells lie. So those were true to those people who have seen Buddha Amitabha at the time of death, and also right after their breath has been stopped, and they will able to reborn into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land right away.
Tendre indi ta karsana chi tendre ge yang karsana chi changga yang nyung tende mares ta chi ge ni ge chi zensha pe wang de tangba inna yang tende ta sama ge zensha ge marwa tendre indi ta so de karsana tende cherang kala ta de cender wa tende ceder wa ce de kar ma shin hwa la ko ge tende oba me karsana chi pepe ge nawa shar tende ji dalina tende dewa chang ge shangam do so tendre ji dalina tende njagi yore tendre indi ta ko chima ta ta kangsa ta ta kong de chi ba nam jin 가사 강형 매바로와 아니 대화장 그 상kam라더니 고 진로와 든리용요레스
So it is not something that one or two story were told, that there are many stories were told that they have seen Buddha Amitabha at the time of death. And of course, if it is one or two, we could imagine that could be not real, but it is not, incident is not only happened to the few people, but happened to many people. So therefore, it is we can say it is true. And of course, while they are alive, they have been praying to the Buddha Amitabha, and they also made a strong will to take rebirth into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land. And obviously, after they stop their breathing, they will right away take rebirth into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land.
야, 다 던져 지달에니 가서 가서 가르스나 던져 대화장기 상금라 제송와 있나 드니 가르요레스나 대화장기 상금라 제송와 있나 다 대화 코나 마르톡스 제르와데 등을 끄더니 코 망양 잠깐 말했어 던져가 어떤 데 다소 가랑소 다지니 공원이 셔바 상마근 도지데 대화인바 던져인데 대화 운이 데 돈데니르거나 다 던져 그 가르스나 타르와 돈데니르야 당더니 대화장기 상금 일라더니 자니 되는 공부 보면라 소로한데 던져
So, once the individual has been taken birth into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land or Sukhavati, then it is always happiness there. There will be no name of suffering at all. So earlier we have been talked about the wishing. Every individual is to wish for happiness. So wish for happiness, and then how to create ourselves happiness. There are few ways, as I mentioned. One is that one is to liberate ourselves or attain enlightenment. Another one is, of course, we can take rebirth into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land.
근데 인데 지금 대화 장그 상금라 지발렌 서비기 지라다 지금 수이당 쿠라 속바 던저 토비하게 제더니 지금 잔스 땅 던저가 가르스나더니 인작동라 속바다 던지양 강양 그 제국 말했을 때니 소소 강도 바데 일라 삼바 잠지 그더니 좀 그랬으니다 던지 그 연단더니 그런 빵담에 봐 요바레스.
So the once you born into the Buddha Amitabha Pure Land, of course we do not have to worry about finding the food, having competition with the other. I should be better than other. There will be no jealousy, and whatever thoughts you will arise, whatever thoughts arise in your mind, whatever you wish, whatever you have desired, everything come spontaneously. You do not really make effort to have it.
야, 다더니 가서 뒤쪽고 왕거 대랑 대라 삼자파레 던지 인지 산스 남켄 그 던지 추적 남바거더니 파설라 지기지라지 고샤자야다라 지 반비 그거니 드니 가서는 지 반토고 삼나 던지 지달리나더니 고샤자야다 오다 던지 나로지스.
But due to the time consumed, that we will going to end the session here, and then if this teaching is useful, then of course you share with your friend and family, and I will stop here.
So nam dai tamji